What's up, guys? We are back going over tonight's college basketball plays. We're going to get into tonight's slate, recap a little bit what's going on over the weekend. Guys, NBA will be back. I know it's tough with the All-Star break and all, but guys, we will be back into the swing of things. There's a lot of hockey going on, a lot of college basketball. There's other avenues people are getting into within the sports betting sphere. But when we talk more about what's going on with college basketball, guys, I'm going to give you guys my three best bets for tonight's slate, okay? A lot of things going on. We got a lot of action happening, a lot of Big East play, as well as we're going to head out to the Mountain West, look at a really big game that I kind of have penciled in as one of my favorite plays for tonight, and kind of get into the Pomeroy rankings as well. For those of you that are aware, just a very valuable tool when you want to look and differentiate betting splits as well as rankings within the college basketball ranks. Okay, but let's get into it, guys. And just to recap a little bit with what happened over the weekend, horrible 0-3 we had on Saturday. A couple bad beats. Really did not expect UCLA's best player to get ejected in the first half after basically they had a commanding lead for that first half of play. And even with 4 minutes left in the game, I really thought they were going to cover that 2.5 in that revenge spot. But that's just one, guys. It is part of the game, right? So that's why it's important to use all of your betting resources, your knowledge, and stay disciplined, because over the course of the year, guys, you will be profitable. It's just what it's come down to. That's why it's important to bet with units, not get out of control, and don't really go crazy on one day, because it is just one day, and the whole goal is to live to bet another day and cash some tickets, okay? But let's get into tonight's games. These are big ones, and we look into the first matchup that we're going to be talking about here on the card is Butler and Villanova, okay? So Butler and Villanova, that is one where, guys, we're seeing a 6.5-point number currently as it stands, over-under with 141.5. But this is what we need to talk about. This is very important. We're going to get into some of the numbers behind this and how I'm looking at it. Butler is 15-10 overall, 12-13 against the spread. Villanova, very similar, 50-50, 13-11, both win-loss and against the spread. And these two teams, guys, very much prominent Big East teams, okay? And we've seen this game, okay? This is a rematch where they went into double overtime back in the late January, I think, and that's where you saw Butler pull away, winning that contest 88-81. So now this is another revenge spot, okay? This is another rematch, and in college basketball, home and away really does matter, okay? Now, this is something where we look at Villanova in this revenge spot, right? They've won three out of their last four against Butler. This is something where I have to go with the Bulldogs in this one. I know they had a couple big lopsided losses, but 6.5, if you can find a 7 out there anywhere in the market, that would be something to jump on. But, guys, we look at this game. This is something where I would have to play Butler with the points. It's just a possibility of just being too close, a 1-2 possession decision in either direction. So I think there's value in taking the 6.5, as well as I would probably lean towards the under, okay? As long as we don't get another double overtime, the under in this contest would definitely be a lean, getting at that 141.5 number, okay? And then secondly, let's get into the next game where we look into the slate even a little further, okay? And this is where we're going to go down and look at the matchup between Yukon and Creighton, okay, another Big East matchup, okay. This is one where you're going to hear me talking about Yukon for quite some time. We'll pull up the Ken Palm, guys. This is something where, look at these guys. Number 2 overall, I just played a huge futures bet with Yukon plus 600 before they absolutely demolished what we see within Marquette. Okay, and Marquette is no slouch, and this was an absolute taking them to the woodshed that Yukon was able to do over the weekend. But we talk more about this game, guys. We have a total of 145, over-under of 3. You think this is just a one-bucket game, and you have to look at something within recent form within this, and this is where that home and away split, I think, really matters. But when we get into it, I think there's a little bit of a value in taking Yukon, okay? I think this is going to be one of the lower numbers that you get on Yukon. It's a little fishy. I gotta admit to you guys, it's a little fishy. You would think that this would be something where you see basically too low of a number. Recency bias, beating Marquette by 20 plus points. You'd think Yukon would be at least a 5-point favorite in this matchup, even on the road. This is something where it's a little fishy. I gotta admit to you guys, but when we look at this 2.5, I just think it's more so a value play on the strength in the pedigree of Yukon. they're going to be one of my teams I'm going to be riding for the March Madness into the Final Four. Hopefully, we look at their record, we look at their statistics, and it just seems like last year. It feels way too much like last year that they're going a little bit undervalued, and that's why I see some value taking the Huskies on the road, plus 2.5. It's something where minus 2.5 in this contest. You look at the common opponents, guys. We both know what they were able to do to Butler, 79-57 for Creighton recently, and then we can go back to a 71-62 for Yukon. And even so, Georgetown, blowouts, very similar teams, but Yukon has won their last 5 games. Creighton has went 3-2 in their last 5 games, and it's something where it really looks to me like this possibly could be another lopsided decision, and for some reason, the respect is not there for the Huskies. So maybe they're onto something. Maybe this is a fishy line. Maybe Creighton comes in and gets it done at home. But I just think it's more of a value play for me where I get the better team. I get them by 1 possession, and it's something where I look to cover this number on the road in a fashion where it could be a letdown spot. After that big win against Marquette, will Yukon come out here and crap the bed? That's a possibility. But I'm going to find value in 1 possession on the road, getting it done. So we're going to go Yukon Huskies. I just truly think it's resembling a little bit of last year where they're blowing teams out by 20-plus points, and they're just going a little bit undervalued in the market, even all the way through the NCAA tournament. I remember that last year, and that was something very astonishing where they were having an average margin of victory in double digits, and they still weren't getting the due credit, and we were questioning the fact that they were even going to be a contest for the national championship game, and they ended up winning by double digits, I believe, in that contest, okay? So those are my first 2 plays, and then we're going to get into the next play within San Diego State and the Utah State Aggies, okay? This is something where, let's look at that, let's talk about it, because this is something where, guys, a lot of people are on Utah State in this matchup, okay? A lot of people are on Utah State. We'll bring it into perspective here, where you see, I'll pull up on your screen, we look at some of the KenPom rankings and what's going on, and this one just kind of does not resonate with me as well. Okay, this is a contest, 9 o'clock out west, Mountain West, and the Mountain West has had a huge advantage in taking the home team in these games. Okay, Utah State minus 2.5 favorite, over under 143.5. And into KenPom, guys, I had it highlighted because this one just really jumped out at me on the page. San Diego State 20-6 on the season. Okay, 18th in KenPom. And we look even further into this, guys. Utah State 41, 21-5 record, okay? So clearly a huge difference in the power rankings within San Diego State and Utah State. But then we'll get into the actual numbers, and you want to ask yourselves, why is this only a 2.5 point spread, okay? Why am I getting the better team on the road getting points, okay? So then the first thing you got to turn to is injuries. But it's something where we look into recent form and basically what we look at within some of these recent matchups, okay? San Diego State was able to beat Utah State 81-67 back on February 3rd, okay? So that's a little bit of recency there, okay? We look at San Diego State winning 4 of their last 5. Huge win over New Mexico. We saw that game over the weekend as well. But look at these common opponents, guys, and this is kind of where I find some value. Colorado State, 71-55 victory for San Diego State. All right. And Utah State just coming off a 20-point loss on February 17th to Colorado State. I just truly think that we look at this game, guys, past matchup, 81-67. I know it's his home and road thing within the Mountain West, but this is one way to look in this game, guys. I think, barring some insider information with injuries, I think the wrong team is favored in this game. So I probably will put a little bit of money line on San Diego State, and that's about it. That's going to wrap up my 3 plays in best bets within the college basketball slate. And I do want to preface something. I'm going to be keeping a live running total, tracking my performance throughout the year, because it's something where, you have bad days, and it's almost like a guilt trip, if you will, because, talking about these picks, I feel bad for you guys watching these videos. I want to deliver for you guys, but I also want to keep it 100 and be fully transparent in all my videos and content. So that's going to be new. We're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff. Also on my X platform, make sure you guys are all following me on there. The handle is in the bottom left, because there are a lot of live betting opportunities, that I like to get into from time to time, as well as some of the stuff that I do off camera, right? some of the bigger kind of fun bets, if you will, long shots, so on and so forth, parlays. I'll be breaking a lot of those down, sharing with you guys a lot of cool stuff. That's why I want to get up a Patreon, a Discord, get everything in that regard up and running. But I want to share with you guys a lot of the cool stuff that I get into off camera, off content, right? Because there's a lot of fun things within sports betting that I want to dabble in and share with you guys as well as part of my audience. So make sure you guys are all subscribed here on YouTube as well as on X. The handle is in the bottom left, like I said. A lot of cool stuff coming. We're going to be doing some giveaways, some contests. So like I said, make sure you guys are all subscribed down below. But those are my 3 picks within the college basketball slate. Let me know what you guys are doing. If you guys have bets of your own, anything you like, I try to respond to each and every one of you guys in the comments. But the channel is growing, and that is obviously a positive for all of us. But that's what I have in this video. I thank you guys for all watching, and go cash some tickets.